Pathmonk is the AI for website conversions. With increasing online competition, over 98% of website visitors don't convert. The ability to successfully show your value proposition and support visitors in their buying journey separates you from the competition online. Pathmonk qualifies and converts leads on your website by figuring out where they are in the buying journey and influencing them in key decision moments with relevant micro experiences like case studies, intro videos, and much more. Stay relevant to your visitors and increase conversions by more than 50% in 3 simple steps. Add Pathmonk to your website in seconds, let the artificial intelligence do all the work, and then increase conversions by 50% while you keep doing marketing as usual. Check us out on pathmonk.com. All right, everyone, welcome to today's episode of Pathmonk Presents. Today, we are here with Matt Holden from Glimpse. Matt is leading marketing at Glimpse, and my understanding of Glimpse is that it helps you with, dealing with stores and, their billing mistakes, but this is such a reductive definition. Then I want to leave the word to Matt. Matt, welcome, and glad to have you on the show.
Hey, thanks, Rick. Great to be here. Glimpse is all about helping to empower growing consumer brands in the CPG retail space. If you're familiar with KeHE and Unify distributors, you know that they can be a bit of a pain to work with. They take a lot of money back from the brands for lots of different things, and it's hard to manage. So we have AI that just handles the whole process for you. You don't even have to touch anything to do with deductions anymore, and money comes back automatically from those distributors so you can help grow your brand. But that's just the beginning. We're really in the new year, and beyond, building what I think will be like the one-stop shop for a brand that's in a retail channel to manage a lot more than just deductions. But baby steps, you got to solve the real painful problems first.
Right, of course. And Matt, we were just talking offline, and you told me about how it came to be, joining Glimpse, and that you like the mission of helping this from the small entrepreneurs to the bigger stores. But I'm curious, what kind of businesses or industries do you feel you're able to serve best, and what's the kind of core problem that you solve for them? Because sometimes it might be a little bit unclear, but if you could help us understand a little bit more, then it would be great.
Yeah, totally. So right now, the brands that we are serving are brands that are distributing to grocery stores in the US through KeHE and Unify, which are the two big sort of consolidated duopolistic distributors. For example, if you want to be in Whole Foods, you're mandated to use this distributor. And so there's a lot of power that they wield over, all of these up and coming entrepreneurial mom and pop brands that are, trying to actually make our food system better. So I was really sort of captured by that mission of empowering the Davids against the Goliaths in a way. But as we grow, our sort of ability to help brands increases. And it's not just those two distributors, but we're building connections for, brands that sell directly to CVS or Target or some of the other big sort of grocery chains and other types of retail chains. So right now, I think it's like challenger CPG brands, up and coming, growing food and beverage brands that you might find in Whole Foods.
Right. Okay. And, so from what I understand, then, it spans across different kind of audiences, let's say. So it's the small entrepreneur, it's the more established shop, right? But I'm curious, how would they typically find out about you? Are you kind of present in any, I don't know, trade shows, events, or, what, I guess in a way, what are your top acquisition channels?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's been kind of a wild ride. We only launched the service in April of 2024, and we're close to 100 brands on board
Wow.
here in January 2025. And probably the biggest channel for us has been getting out to trade shows like Expo West, or the Fancy Foods show, or kind of like activating around some of the distributors selling shows directly. I think it's been sort of important, I think, with the saturation of you know, AI, email content and other content, getting out in front of your customers in real life is the best way, I think, to build the audience, especially in the beginning. You know, we're definitely in the early stages of growing into a much larger company. And then I think also, and this kind of goes in tandem with the events, but also a lot of online activations with communities like Startup CPG, who are like an amazing free educational resource for CPG operators. And a lot of like successful people are in that community helping out entrepreneurs that are earlier in their journey. So it's a really wonderful kind of like organic community that our ICP is in. And so, you know, I knew those guys from previous companies that I've worked at, and, you know, really wanted to work closely with them, and it's been super fruitful so far. And we're going to continue to activate with them. We're doing a fun karaoke party at Fancy Food Show coming up with Startup CPG. So, you know, that, I think those types of communities have been really, really important. You know, being able to do a webinar, but like to that community instead of just putting it out into the ether, you know, and hoping that somebody finds it. So I think that those two have been really important for us. And then I think just like organic social, like, you know, I knew that the old ways of marketing and selling weren't going to work anymore, and that we needed to invest in like building a brand and building a presence online. So, you know, a lot of LinkedIn, you know, posting, a lot of like starting to do like videos and almost make it like a little reality TV show about these three founders growing this cool company, and now we're hiring more people, and I want to continue doing that as well. Yeah, I feel like, I mean, there's so much more that I'm trying to build as we go, but it's just like, it's nice. I feel like the product market fit with this is much higher than companies I've worked at in the past.
I mean, I can understand, you know, there's so much that you could work on, and so many hats that you have to wear, right? Leading marketing, but I like it that the foundations are set at the human level. You know, the trade shows, the community, the karaoke, right? That's pretty cool. But I'm also curious because obviously you mentioned the social media side of things, right? That's more scalable when you talk about an approach, you know, to attract clients, let's say, and partners. And so I'm also curious about the role of your website, for example, and for such a young company, let's say, what's the role of your website at the moment? Do you think it's helping you attract clients? Do you feel it has any standout strengths or maybe areas that could be improved?
Yeah, absolutely. So the website existed before I came on board, and it's done a good job for us. It's a landing page built in Webflow. It doesn't have like a complex hierarchy of pages or anything yet, but you know, it does a pretty good job of explaining the key like value proposition, and showcases like social proof, quotes, logos, things like that, and also talks a little bit about like how the founders did Y Combinator, and they've raised money from like some pretty prestigious investors. Like this isn't just some fly-by-night company that's going to disappear. I think it is in need of a bit of a refresh, especially as we start to get more and more traffic to it. One of the first things I did when I came on board was like get our B2B pixel set up so that we could identify who's on our website, and you know, go add them on LinkedIn or go send them a little email. I'm in a WeWork call booth, and here we go. So you know, we're seeing more and more traffic to the website, and so you know, I really want to give it a quick refresh like ASAP, but also as part of this branding and design project that we're going to begin. We're going to end up with a new website out of that, which, you know, I want to make sure that has like a blog page, a case studies page, you know, a page about the team, like all those types of things that you see on typical websites. But I just think that like the growth has been so much faster than other startups, and the pain is so painful, and there's no other solution that does it, that fixes it automatically. Every other solution out there is like, you gotta like upload documents, and then you've got to like read a graph and figure out what to do and who to email, and you got to remember to follow up with them, and this just does everything. So it's like the priority, I think, has just been having like that quick conversation with folks, and getting them to have that light bulb moment of like, oh, this is possible. Like, we're in a new era of tech. You know, I don't have to do the work anymore. I'm not buying software that makes me spend time using it. I'm just buying software that does the thing that I need it to do automatically. And so like helping folks to have that light bulb moment is definitely like at the forefront when I think about changing some of the copy, and also as I'm building out like case studies and things like that.
Right. Yeah. As you build it up, right? But it sounds like just a simple, let's say, landing page with the right copy and you know, the social proof. Sometimes, you know, just using the basics will be enough for growing at the beginning, right? Then you can expand it and just turn it into something bigger, and you know.
But it's, you know, as we grow, you know, as we do a fundraise this year, and you know, we're 10xing our revenue this year. So like we're gonna update the website. We're gonna add some more stuff to it, and especially as we move up market, I think there's longer sales cycles. There's more folks that are involved that are like chatting with each other internally about like, oh, there's this new tool. Should we check it out? You know, you need to have more meat on the bone for them to eat, essentially, because it's a conversation that, you know, has to happen across different siloed departments, and there's real impacts to like, okay, now we've saved like, you know, half of some guy's time each week in the company. Like, what do we do to use that time more effectively? You know, so I think we're gonna have to build out a lot of content around like the change management, that even a simple, not simple, but like solving one really big pain point in a big company just requires more thinking and more kind of like thoughtful change management than like a, you know, a team of like a few people, you know, that are getting on board with Glimpse so that they don't have to hire more people.
Right. It makes sense.
There's also
so
like,
I'm just curious.
Verticalization will have to, sorry, I totally forgot one other thing about the website.
No worries. Go ahead.
As we build up the sort of like the business, it's going to be verticalized. Like, we're going to need to speak differently to like a skincare company than like a coffee company, you know? And so I think our website will have to evolve to meet that as well.
Right. So you mentioned, and it makes a lot of sense. And I think, you know, what I'm about to ask is actually about that in a way. You mentioned you use, for example, RB2B, right? And it's a cool tool. I've seen it, you know, it's grown so much in the last year or so. And are there any kind of tools that you foresee? Because obviously right now you have a landing page you can use, you know, you have a tool stack, let's say, that might be, I don't know, quite, you know, quite small, let's say. But is there anything that you foresee when you do grow the website that you foresee using, you know, any tools that you wanted to put your hands on for a while, anything like that? Because, you know, obviously our
I think,
listeners do love a tech stack, so that's that the question has to be in there.
yeah, of course. Of course. So right now we are using Webflow on top of HubSpot. And I think there's a lot more that we can be doing from like a RevOps perspective in terms of like utilizing HubSpot more, and automating a lot of like, I want to get like some email, like personalized but automated sort of email flows based on behavior. Now that we can identify people, with the pixel, it's all about like how do we gather contextual information about that person or that company so that when we write to them, it makes sense. And it's like a value add rather than just like an ad, and then we work with this design as a service called Awesonic, and they have Webflow as part of their capabilities, and so I'm kind of like seeing what they can do there, but I'm looking forward to like really revamping the design in Q1 with we have, I know who I want to use, but it's not confirmed yet, so I don't want to say anything, but very excited about kind of changing the design. In terms of tech stack, like in the past, I've used tools that like, it's like a little pop-up that starts talking to you like, hey, I noticed you're looking at the Little Bucks case study, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. I'm more focused on like, how do we make our offering just like such a no-brainer, and how do we like know who our ICP is, and how do we know when a brand crosses into our ICP so that we can reach out to them, and kind of use like signals to drive outreach that feels real and contextual and relevant. But I think if you have a really strong offer, you have amazing product market fit, it's like people are going to figure out how to get in touch with you, and you just have to kind of make it easy for them to book a meeting. So I'm just more focused on like, how do we get people to our website rather than like much of the conversion stuff when they get there.
Got it. Makes sense. And so maybe we can switch gears a little bit and talk about your day to day in that sense, right? So what are you focusing on? What does a day in your role look like at the moment?
Yeah, it's different every day, which I really love. There's always going to be some like copywriting happening for LinkedIn posts or like case studies, or like there's a lot of collateral to build. Then I'm working with the Awesonic guys to give them a brief or kind of like give them some feedback on work that they might have done overnight. And I'm also really working on partnerships. So like, working with other businesses that serve the same community as us, to do events and to do, online activations and things like that. Partnerships is like what drove a lot of my success when I was in sales, especially in the Shopify world, because e-com entrepreneurs, just like consumer brand entrepreneurs, are getting hit up all the time by SaaS vendors and agencies and stuff. So if you can build relationships and like with really relevant partners and kind of like share your networks in a mutually considerate way, there's huge opportunity there. And for the customer, it's like a value add if their tech stack are like friends. If something needs to be connected or integration needs to get changed or something, like it's going to happen. And I think also entrepreneurs are so busy, like there's so many categories in the tech stack to evaluate and reevaluate. And so if you can start to bring like a unified tech stack that makes sense for a specific type of business, I appreciate it, you know? It just has to be authentic and like organic and not like driven by like meeting a quota, or you know what I mean? It's like,
Right.
and every partnership's different. Like you can't like force a playbook. You kind of have to just like chat and like feel each other out and like understand each other's priorities, and then also understand like where's the overlap in the ICP, and like you just like talk to a real customer that uses both tools, and you might get some amazing insights about like how the product roadmap should go, or you know how, you know, value is being presented. So I think that's like a big focus for me. And then also just like buying spots in like newsletters and buying like little ads, and you know, working with partners like Startup CPG or CPG Wire or the Naturally Network to set up events and like online activations and stuff like that. So
Right.
that's
So
a lot of
that's
that. I think also I'm hopping on demos a lot, like just like helping with the overflow, because we just have these insane growth goals. And so, you know, there's a little bit of unscalable stuff happening at the moment. And, you know, we're going to, you know, do this fundraise. We're going to continue to grow the team. And hopefully I'm going to be able to, you know, take some of these hats off my head and give them to other folks. One thing I'm excited also to work on this quarter, in addition to like the branding and the RevOps stuff, is I want to do like a mail campaign and coordinate it with online campaign as well, and see if we can kind of break through the noise a little bit that way and make people laugh. I have it's kind of a funny campaign, so we'll see how that goes.
Okay, sweet. And it sounds like, because obviously you're focused a lot on brand awareness at the moment, right? So it's kind of a way to right now kind of set the tone and the voice of your brand. And so it should be, you know, it should be a lot of fun, I think, because it's at the beginning and you kind of decide the trajectory right now. And it sounds to me like, you know, the foundations you're setting at the moment, it's focused on people. You get those conversations in every day. You're listening to, you know, to your ICP. So yeah, I'm excited for it too. I'm looking forward to seeing how it works. Matt, we're kind of, you know, need to wrap things up here. So I just want to jump into our rapid fire questions, take a couple minutes for that. And the only rule that we have here, we break it ourselves sometimes, but it's to give short and crisp answers. Are you ready?
Okay. Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. What's the last book you read?
Angels by Dennis Johnson.
Okay, so assume it's not business related or marketing related, right?
It's not a marketing book. Yeah, no, it's if you like Jack Kerouac, you'll probably like this book.
Okay, sweet. What's one single thing that your company is focused on at the moment?
Spreading the good word.
Sweet. Imagine there are no boundaries in technology. What would be one thing that you want to have fixed for your role right now?
I feel like we're in that time right now. There's like an overwhelming amount of like AI agents that can take stuff off my plate. And it's like, I need an AI to help me filter through all the AI content and get the good stuff, you know, and help me choose what AI tools to use. Yeah.
That's a good one. AI for AI, just to help you out. So one piece of advice, Matt, that you would give yourself if you were to restart your journey as a marketer?
Just start doing therapy earlier in life. I think just no matter what you do, the better relationship you have with yourself, the more successful you're going to be, and the less you're going to hold yourself back.
That's awesome. That's really good, Matt. Matt, I wanna thank you for being on the show with us today, and I want to give you the last word. If someone forgets everything about what we said today about the interview, what's the one thing they should remember about the work you guys are doing at Glimpse?
I think if you are a consumer brand that's frustrated by the experience of working with KeHE and Unify, talk to us, because we will make it a lot better for you and take a bunch of work off your plate cheaper than anybody's ever been able to do it before.
Perfect. Simplify it for everyone. All right, man. Thanks again for coming on the show. I hope to see you again maybe in the new year when Glimpse is growing more and more, and things are exciting still. So thank you again for coming on.
All right, thanks, Rick. Have a good one.
All right, bye everybody.